All right, we should be live. Let's see. All right, I think we are live. Let's double check everything. Set the bot blast. Yeah, I think we are good. What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. We usually do these on Thursdays, and we'll throw it off on Tuesday. I'm actually going to an event tomorrow, going to a workshop in Phoenix. So if anybody's on and you're in Phoenix, let me know. Love to meet up with you out there. Let's see, yep, getting some people on. Let's send the bot out. While people are jumping in here, hold on one sec. All right, we're good. We got people joining. All right, so I'm super excited, guys. This is going to be a fucking awesome. Like, this is an amazing story here. I am just, jacked to have Alex on to share some time. Alex has come on and he started posting some ridiculous shit, like immediately after he picked up the Krusader training program. And I was like, man, that's fucking dope, and we talked a little bit before that, but, started asking him like, man, what are you doing? So he's agreed to come on, share some amazing stories, because this kid is just fucking just blowing everything up, man. So Alex, dude, introduce yourself. Give us a little background on you, man.
Yeah. What's up, guys? My name's Alex. I'm a professional salesman. So first and foremost, a little bit about my story. I did the whole college thing like a lot of other people. Always felt a little different. Always felt like I've always wanted something bigger. I think that's important, and for me, transparency is important. So I'm going to be raw and real with you guys tonight and hopefully shed some light on truth and what it takes, right? Because last thing I want is for somebody to BS me on what it takes. So that's not what I'm going to do with you guys. I'm going to be raw and real, and that's how I am with everybody. So a little bit about me, always wanted a little bit more, got into college, got into the MLM thing because it was like, oh man, I can make money with selling energy drinks. And I actually did really well, 6-figure income in my dorm, just selling these energy drinks, and had like 2,000 people all over the world, flew to Germany, flew everywhere, California. And that's where I really found my passion for doing something different. And that's what I love about the agency space, man. It's something different, right? I don't understand the 9-to-5, and obviously that's why you guys are in this course. So I started there, things crumbled. I went through a little cycle, depression, the whole thing, found another one, tried that one failed, graduated, moved back home. And then I went and ran an insurance agency, and I studied a guy named Grant Cardone because had really high expectations for myself, as should we all. And I failed. I failed miserably. I literally, what we call blanked for a week. And that wasn't good. And if you're in this space, if you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, you know this feeling of what I'm talking about. You know what blanking feels like. And for me, the difference was I took it personally. So when I blanked my first week in the insurance agency, I literally took it personally, and that was the difference. And that's where I really found that I could change my mindset, change my habits, and become better, right? And that's the biggest thing, you guys. It's like, if we want things to change, we've got to change. We've got to get better if we want better results. So from there on, I failed. I started getting up at like 5 in the morning, started running sprints, started getting my mind right, Eric Thomas, all these things. And then boom, I got promoted. I started running a team, an organization. I started getting more jacked up, momentum starting to happen. And it was like, at that point, it was easy. Long story short, I surpassed my older brother. I took over the entire agency of like 50 people. I got recruited over to Tesla. I started knocking doors, still not doing what I loved. And then Elon changed us from 1099 to W-2. I said, no way, I'm not an employee. I really want to go and be an entrepreneur. I think this agency thing will work out. That was about a year ago, last August. And now I'm here today. Definitely wasn't an easy ride. I mean, more ups and downs, like, the month that I have and the great income that I had last month. That was just all stepping stones from my prior failures. And that's what I want to be really clear on. Like, I worked for this shit.
Yeah.
And it's an everyday thing. So that's a little bit about who I am and how I rock.
I love it, man. You touched on so many things right there that I want to dig into and dig deeper with. But that last one you just said, I want to hit on because I'm obsessed with that right now. Like, where you're at right now is the result of the actions you took years ago. What we don't understand, what humans we fuck up is if we don't see results immediately, we start to think that it's the wrong idea, or it's the wrong, or it doesn't work, or we give up, or we try this diet plan for a week and we don't lose fucking 100 pounds. It's like, no, bro, you're not going to reverse 20 years of shitty eating habits in a week. You know, it takes time. Like, we got to pay the dues. I'm like you, man. I've never, you know, tried to oversell or say like this is the easy way out, you know, but it's way easier to me than working for somebody else for fucking 45 years, you know, put in some work, right? And so I love that, because the actions you take today have an effect years from now, and every day matters. Like, that's one thing that's really important and I'm really obsessed with right now. Every single day matters. Like, there's so often humans, the justification that we are willing to do for our inaction and our failures is just fucking mind-blowing. Like, we have to take it personal. I love how you said you got to take it personally. I take it very, very personally when I fail. It's always my fault, no matter what happens. And you got to take it personally. Like Jarrett Grossman, I don't know, he's kind of an underground motivational speaker on YouTube. I don't know if you've heard of him being in the workout world, but he has this great video about Jerry Rice and what Jerry Rice used to do. And he tells this story about how during Ronnie Lott, who, for those of you who don't know, he's one of the best defensive football players of all time. He was a safety, amazing San Francisco 49er. He was working he was observing Jerry Rice in the locker room one time after a practice. And Jerry Rice, the best receiver of all time, one of the best athletes ever, was crying after a practice because he dropped a lot of balls. Like, the dude was crying because he dropped balls after a practice. That's how serious he took every single day. Like, he took it personally. He went out, not like he was feeling sorry for himself. He was crying anger, upset, and he got out and did it again and again and again. So, like, I think it's really important to take it personally and to get a little bit upset. Like, something I talk about a lot and I posted about in this group is, you know, pissed off for greatness, right? Is if you're not pissed off for greatness, you're okay with being mediocre. And like, you're here, you're watching this right now because you do have something inside of you. Everybody who's watching this right now has something inside of you that wants more. You know, Alex, you touched on so many things that I see in myself, bro. It's actually kind of creepy. But like, just this knowing that we want more, we were built for something more. And there's this huge inner conflict going on of where we want to be, but the outputs we're actually doing. And it takes a lot of fucking work. It does. There's no secret, no ands, ifs, or but it. And I know that a lot of you guys' feed is showing up with like, oh yeah, just, you know, sign up here and you're going to make $1,000 a day next week for not. That's like, no, it's not how it fucking works, but you can do it. But you can do it. That's the key, you know? So what I want to jump into, we're going to come back to the mindset and the work and priming every morning. Let's get into, you know, some of the agency build out and, you know, where you got your start with that. And guys, drop some likes, drop some questions. I mean, this is a heroic story. Like, this is incredible. And this shit can happen. You know, before I jump into the questions, like, you guys might have known my story. We went 10 months with like no sales, nothing. And then all of a sudden something clicked. And boom, we turned a corner, and within 10 months, we were doing 100K a month after that. Like, that's how quickly things can change. You know, like, it can change fast. But those 10 months, I was putting in the reps. I was putting in the work. I learned what didn't work. I learned how things were looking. I learned, you know, what not to do. Like, that's all it is. And then all of a sudden, just extrapolate it on. We need to understand that the work and what we do today, we're going to see the results of years from now. And every day matters. And we need to understand that even if we don't see them immediately, they're still coming up. We're still learning from the environment. So let's talk about after you started your agency, man. Let's jump into that. You know, let's talk about your niche selection, your first couple months in the agency, how things were there, some of the struggles you came up against, because I'm sure that a lot of people can relate to those. Because I want to make sure everyone understands that, like, we're all going through the same fucking problems. You know, if you just keep going, you can get to the other side. You know, so let's
it's the process, it's the foundation, right? And the failures and the trials and tribulations are what build us into that person. So we'll get back to that. But so yeah, this time last year, actually September was my last paycheck I got from Tesla. So I've not even officially been in the game for a full year yet.
Wow.
Now I started my agency with a partner. And I moved home. I moved back home to my mom's house. I didn't know what I was doing. I graduated from USF with a marketing degree, somehow a business marketing degree. And so I didn't know what Gary Vee did. I knew he made a bunch of cash. I didn't know what Russell did, but I knew he made a bunch of cash. Lo and behold, I started to understand, you know, the online game, it's so like, what do these guys really do? And so I didn't get it, but I knew I wanted to be a part of it. And proximity is power. So I started getting around guys that were in the space. My buddy Adam Wenig, some of the agency guys, and you know, I'm gonna cut this timeline short. First couple months didn't do very well. I hired a white label agency, and we were selling a bunch of crap. We didn't know our prices. We didn't have processes down. We didn't really have anything going. I picked up like a motivational speaker. I still sold him for like $5,000. I don't know what he bought from me, but again, I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, this company is going to do all the fulfillment work, and I'm going to sell this guy. So, you know, that was the thing. Like, I was going to make the money and then figure it out. And I think that's the biggest thing is, like, a lot of you guys are pro marketers. Every single one of you on this call is a better marketer than me. Just saying.
Yeah. I mean, dude, sales is so fucking important. That's why I'm so obsessed with it. You know, you can figure out the rest later, right? You sell, you get them on, you can figure out the rest later.
Exactly.
So often we get so scared that we have to have the perfect product or we have to have the perfect thing before we actually go out and talk to people and talk to business owners and get it. But in reality, we're never going to know what the perfect product needs to look like until we actually go out to the market and get the feedback from the market on the product, right? Because you're going to suck. We lost our first couple of clients within 30 days, you know, because we didn't know what we were doing. But you had to sell to get to that point, right? And so we just need to get through the fear and start selling, you know? Okay, so that's
I was knocking doors. I was knocking doors is what I was doing. And I was knocking doors in Florida, 98-degree heat. I was going into cosmetic plastic surgeon. I was suit tie. Hey, I'm your guy. No pitch ready, but I was doing it, right? And one thing led to another. And I don't know if you guys believe in the higher power or whatever, but I ran into a guy who was 70 years old. And this guy was a beast. I see him every morning in the gym. He's a beast. He's doing muscle ups, all these things. And I go up, I shake his hand. I say, hey, you're an inspiration. I want to be just like you. Can I ask how old you are? I swear I thought he was going to say 40 years old. He said 70. I was like, this is insane. I said, what do you do? He said, I'm a chiropractor. Well, I'm a chiropractor. Now my son owns our practices. So long story short, I feel like this guy was put into my life. I landed him. Then I asked my mom, I said, Mom, I need to speak to every single doctor you know. And she put me in touch with her microneedling doctor. I then landed her. You know, these relationships didn't last very long. I didn't really know what I was doing. I had to beg my buddy to teach me how to run a sales after I'd collected the money. I had to beg my buddy to teach me a process. In that time frame, I also pretty much split up with my business partner. I had to make some tough decisions, right? So there's some other things. I knew that he was slowing me down and that I wanted to go at a different speed and I just wanted to figure it out. He was like, man, we got to make sure everything's in tack. I was like, no, we're going to figure it out. So I landed my mom's, you know, cosmetic doctor. I landed this chiropractor who I just gone up to, shook his hand in the gym, went, met his son, suit, tie, didn't know what I was doing. And then, you know, I ran into this guy at Funnel Hacking Live named Bob. I spent $12,000, which I didn't have. I borrowed $5,000 from my mom and I begged Bob to let me pay him every single month. I put my back against the wall and, you know, he helped me build this brand. He helped me do all these things. So I built an awesome foundation. And then Nick, I saw Nick's actually, I saw your live. I had enough value for your live where I think I landed like $11,000 in recurring income just from their free value. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to spend $1,000 to this guy because I just want to get to know him, number one. Yeah. And I also want to know if he's got any other value, bro, because literally just from your live video, I went and I landed $11,000 in recurring income, like $120,000 a year. I
fucking love it, man. And you weren't the only one who messaged me, you know, with the live he's talking about, guys, is one where I go through the qualifying process, the closing process, and also a 4-step framework for cold outreach, man. I love it. And so, yeah, I want to jump in here. There's so many good shit that I
still have it written on my board just because this is what I read before I go to bed. I want you guys to know it's about the sales process. This is your process. I wrote this the first day I learned it, and I closed the 6. I was like, this is it. This works. I'm going to do it every single time. So
that's so dude, I love it. You take it, you see it, you implement it. It's awesome. We're hearing so much stuff like that. I mean, the paid strategy sessions we did a couple weeks ago, people were getting stuff. I love it. So I want to dissect. There's a few things I really want to talk about there. So your first couple clients that you got were through networking and family and friends. And so what I'm gearing up to do here in September when we reopen the Krusader training, we're actually going to do like a 6-week to your first couple of clients onboarding for those of you who are young. And guess what? 2 of the 3 prospecting techniques that I'm going to teach are networking events and talking to your family and friends, because everybody's got it. And there's a lot of people who are on this call who probably still haven't asked for money because they're scared. They're scared of fulfilling. They're scared of, what am I going to look like? Or, oh, this guy's onto something else again. Because they're afraid of that whole MLM tactic, you know, because people, the MLMs, by the way, MLMs, you can still make a lot of money with. There's no hate on me against MLMs at all, but people are afraid because MLMs are so backwards in they're so archaic in their marketing techniques, because they're like, oh, let's start with 100 family and friends. Anyways, ask your family and friends, $500 referral. Give them examples of the type of local businesses you want to work with. Make sure you give them examples of it, right? You want to say that I work with these types of businesses, gyms, chiropractors, dentists, whatever, right? Like, I know those aren't the best niches really to go after right now, but you want to give them examples so that they know and they're thinking about it. And then 2, go to networking events, talk to people. If you're running paid trials, you're going and talking to people, tell them you can generate customers at these networking events, BNIs, chambers of commerce, things like that. You're going to find clients. You're going to fall into them if you go talk to people. So I love that, man. So you start off with that. Now let's talk about, you know, how you are prospecting now. I know now we'll get to the point where you got a team and everything and you've gone crazy building this shit out, which I love. But, you know, what did you start doing outside of that in order to start prospecting and get more clients in?
So let's see. So outside of that, I knew I had to set up systems and processes, and I'll get into where my head's at right now. You know, and it stinks because I love making sales, but let's see. The first thing that I tried to do was I bought a LinkedIn course, right? And I started doing this LinkedIn stuff. I'm really trying to think back to, okay. So somebody told me to just start cold calling and doing these voicemail drops. So if they don't answer, just leave voicemails. And I landed a chiropractor from a voicemail drop, basically saying, hey, this is what I do. If you're interested in a live demo, give me a call. And he called me back and I smashed the live demo. Yeah. And then I used the LinkedIn strategy, right? I landed a few clients from that, a couple more voicemail drops, some email marketing. Yeah. So essentially, I just took massive action on every single angle that's in your course. Yeah. Literally, that's it. If you do the work, and if you do the work not for the result, like if you just do the work to love the process, to love the reps, like if you can embrace that, the results are going to come, right? So that was the thing. Couple cold calls, LinkedIn, and email. Yep. That's how I got my clients. Even right now, I'm just getting ready to launch my paid inbound strategies, right? So
perfect. Yeah, man. I know we'll be working together on that. We got a lot of info in the training on that as well. But I love it. And the reason why I put so many different options within the training is to share with you that, like, there's a million ways to skin cats, guys. What matters is exactly what you're saying. Go out and fucking do something, and just say something that's not half retarded, right? Like, have a little plan and just go out and just message people and reach out. You're going to find people who are hungry, who are looking for help, because guess what? Almost every local business in America needs your help. They need help with it. Yes, they're a little scared of marketers. Yes, you might get told to go fuck yourself, you know, but that's part of the deal. Like, that's what's going to happen. Trust me, it gets a lot worse if you get bigger. Like, then you're getting threatened with lawsuits and real angry people. You know, but you got to be able to deal with it. You got to have a tough mindset, you know, like, and go into it with the ability to help people. I love that, because LinkedIn is a phenomenal way of going about it. Cold email can work very well. Facebook business pages, you know, direct messaging videos to them. Instagram direct messages to video pages. There's so many things that we can do here. And I love that you just took a little bit of all of them. And then I love that you're making calls too, because if you reach out to all these places, right? Like, here's a badass example right now of what you can do. Go on LinkedIn, connect with somebody, find their email address, and find their Facebook business page. Hit all 3 of them with a quick video introduction of you, and then a quick outline of your services. Say you want to talk and you guarantee leads, or you could run a paid trial, and then make a phone call saying, hey, bro, I hit you on like all 3 platforms. What's up? You know, like, and then you're going to reach people. You find 20 people to do that, and you do those 3 things. You do that every week. You're going to start having appointments. And then from there, if you follow a good process, you're going to start closing fucking deals. You know, like, it's really, like, I don't want to make it sound simple, but it is, you know, it really is. And so often we tend to overthink things. Is my email mic right? Or, somebody will respond back to one of our cold emails and be like, fuck you, get me off your list. And then we get scared to send an email again, or, all that type of stuff, because that happens. But we need to understand that when somebody responds back to you in a negative way like that, it's never about you. They've got something else going on. Just look at the news. All you need to do, which actually don't watch the news, anybody ever, but all you have to do is observe the news for like 10 minutes to realize that everyone's pissed off, right? And so so stay away from it. But you got to understand it's not about you. You can't take those things personally. You just got to move on. You got to move on, and you got to get used to it, because if you want to make it in business, you really want to go big, you have to be okay with rejection, and you have to be okay with losing. You never want to accept losing, but you have to understand it's going to happen sometimes, right? Sometimes you get hit in the face, it's all about how we come back from that, right? That's what it's all about, man. So I love that, dude. I love that what you're sharing. You're literally doing it exactly how, anyways, that's fucking awesome, dude. Let's talk about, some of the mindset stuff, some of the things that you go into, and guys, ask questions along the way, by the way. We've got a ton of, feedback here. We got someone who's literally just rising up, and I have no doubt it'll be at 100K probably by the end of the year at this trajectory. Yeah, dude, you can rock it, man. It can be done. You just go out and put a good referral program in place and just spread your message. And once you get the down strategies going, it's game over. So let's talk a little bit about, your mindset, some of the things that you are, thinking about before you go into these calls. What drives you to make so much action and just work so fucking hard at this stuff?
I don't know, man. I just get jacked up every freaking day.
Why not, dude? We're alive, bro. Why wouldn't we jacked up?
I just get jacked up, man. Like this is where I thrive, right? Like I'm not an agency owner. I'm not a business. Like I just take care of me first, and everything else follows. Yeah. Right. Like I literally watch my mind. I watch my thought patterns, and that's where a lot of people are lacking, right? That's where a lot of us can get lost in the weeds. And Nick, you said a couple things I want to touch on really quick before I go into that, because I'll give you guys all the sauce, literally everything that I do. Yep. First thing, you guys got to think about volume value marketing. So many of you guys are scared from a no and scared from getting hit in the jaw, and you're afraid to get back up. Well, we gotta understand that we're gonna find our quality through quantity. Right. So that's exactly what I tell my clients. Like, it's volume value marketing. Look, we're going to put out this ad, and we're going to find our quality through quantity. And that's how our marketing strategies have to be as well. Because at the end of the day,
especially at the beginning. So I want to touch, especially at the beginning, guys, you got to blast the market. You got to go volume. Like, I know there's this growing movement of people like, oh, I'm just going to wait here and post stuff, and organically I'm going to get people in the door, and they're going to come, and they're going to be my perfect coach, so I can teach my coach how to coach coaches, and all this shit. And it just drives me like nuts. I'm like, look, organic marketing is good. You want to use it. You want to build a brand. But when you're getting fucking started, man, you got to hit the market hard. You can't just sit back and wait for people to come to you. You got to pay the bills. You got to take care of your family. You got to think about these things, and you got to put yourself on the line. And really quick, before, I know you wanted to talk about it, there was something else I wanted to touch upon that I loved. You said you put your back up against the wall. The reason why we have pictures of burning the boats back here is because you burned the fucking boats. When we got started, my business partner quit a cush $120,000 a year job. We were making $0. I had gone 10 months with 0 sales, nothing. We were losing $3,000 every single month that we were investing in SEO and a bunch of shit that didn't actually work at the time because I didn't know what to do, right? Until I figured this stuff out. But we quit with 0, and he had mortgage, house, bills. We're running on credit cards. If you want to take the fucking island, burn the fucking boat. Because when humans tend to succeed, humans are forced to succeed, we tend to find a way. And that's really the definition of entrepreneurship in a nutshell. Find a way. You just figure it out. There's always a solution. There's always a way about it. So many of us are scared of having our backs against the wall, or this pressure on us. By the way, pressure is nothing except for just a thought inside your head that you tend to believe. But we need to reframe our mind to where we love the pressure, where we love what we're up against, and we love the big mountains, because guess what? Nobody else likes the big mountains. And so if we do what everyone else isn't doing, then we're going to get what we want, because most of the country, most of America, they're depressed, borderline anxiety, poor, broke, all this stuff, because they're all doing things in a certain way. We need to go against the grain. We need to learn to love that type of stuff and reframe our mind for it, right? You got to get excited about the challenge. So I just wanted to jump in on that, right? Because it's all about the volume at first. Yeah, down the line, yeah, you can have surveys, you can get people in, you can be stronger. But when you've got more time than money, just machine gun it. You know what I mean? Machine gun it and set some fucking calls.
Well, think about it. Think about it logically. If I have one sales call for the day and the guy blows me off, I'm gonna be bummed because I was amped.
Yeah.
And if you're like me, I went all in, and that was my only call, and I was amped for that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be bummed, right? And Nick's saying is right. Like, our minds, we were lied to. Like, most people don't live the type of life that I want. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm different than most everybody on this planet. Like, I walk around and I'm like, damn, I feel awkward right now. Like, I feel uncomfortable around these people because I'm thinking about things that they would be like, that's impossible. Yeah. And I'm like, how can I make it possible, right? So I'm asking myself different questions. Yeah. So the point being is we have to reprogram our brains. And the way you do that in the beginning is through volume. If you have 3 sales calls in a day, the first guy blows you off, how are you thinking for the rest of the day? Fuck it. I got 2 more and I'm going to rock these. But if you got 1, you're screwed. If you got 1 marketing strategy and that strategy goes down, you're screwed. If you got 5 marketing strategies and 1 goes down, you're good, right? So you always want to be pushing out volume and prospecting and in sales. Now, programming your mind for success, and I'll be transparent. Like, guys, days are tough. Like, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say like, I never get upset. Like, I'm very sensitive to my surroundings. I don't know if any of you guys have studied Alex Sharfin, but I am that person. Like, the avatar that he describes, where you're sensitive to your surrounding, you're sensitive to what goes in your mind, you're sensitive to, like, I'm sensitive to my foods, everything I eat, what I drink, all that stuff. And I've really just been learning it more and more. So I program myself every single day, and I'll take you guys through how I do that starting at 5 a.m. every single morning. That's when my Saturdays and Sundays, like, I still like to go have fun and all that stuff. I do have a social life. I think that's important. So don't get me wrong, but Monday through Friday, I'm up at 5 a.m. First thing I do is I turn on my lights here and I make my bed. That's my first win of the day. I sharpen that thing up. I try to turn my brain off because my brain at 5 a.m. is already like, how are you going to do this? What about this? What about the money? You gotta pay 10 grand in credit. So I'm like, shut up, brain, shut up, right? So I make my bed. I literally brush my teeth. I drink a 24-ounce glass of what I call 9.5 Kangen water. I go downstairs. I make a cup of black coffee. I sit down, and I read some of these awesome books that Nick has been telling me to read. Literally, I read for about 20 minutes. I just get a good message into my mind, right? So that's literally, those are the steps. Like, I wake up, I make my bed, I brush my teeth, I drink my Kangen water, I make my coffee, I come back upstairs, I read. As soon as I'm done reading, no bullshit. This is the difference that's going to make you either succeed or fail, is if you can implement the small things. Every single morning, I write my goals. Like, I mean, every single morning, like, I don't miss a day. Like, I don't miss a day of my goals, right? Like, I don't miss a day. Like, every morning, sometimes they change. Like, I don't miss a day. Because that's what matters to me in life. Like, I don't miss a day.
Every day fucking matters. That's what I was talking about earlier. Every day, every step matters. I love that so yours is very similar to mine. I get up between 4:30 and 5, make my bed, and I listen to motivational music while I'm going to the gym. After I do priming, I do 10 to 15 minutes of meditation / priming. Tony Robbins priming, Google it for anybody. We won't go deep into it right now, but it's so important to start the day right. And it's crazy, man. Ever since I started making my bed every day, I listen to that fucking Navy SEAL who gave an amazing speech on it. If you guys want to hear it, this is an amazing thing. Google, if you want to change the world, start by making your bed. It's an amazing speech. I don't know if that's where you got it too, man, but it's made a difference. I love it. I make my bed every single morning, no matter what. And I didn't for years. I was a fucking bachelor for a long time, you know?
Yeah.
I just let things go, but I make it every day now. And I also chug a shit ton of water. I usually have about 40 ounces of water when I first wake up, because I usually take some caffeine pills and pre-workout to get rocking and rolling. So that's awesome, because how you start your day is so important. You need to have a good message that goes into your mind, because it is going to get rough and it is going to get tough. And the problems are only going to get bigger as the business gets bigger, because then you're dealing with, a lot of overhead, and you're dealing with a lot of moving pieces and a lot of moving parts and all that type of stuff. So I love that, dude. That's sick. Now continue on, but I love it because that's very
Yeah.
similar what I do. Although I do it Saturdays and Sundays too because I don't have a social life.
Yeah. Well, I'm still a bachelor, so I still got some years in me.
There you go.
But yeah, as soon as I'm done with that, I literally go to the gym. I sit 30 minutes in the sauna, literally till I'm drenching, like literally. And I don't know, like I think this works for me. Like the amount of energy I have through the day, like I could run through a wall. Like I'm like, who's a professional athlete? Put me up against them and we'll rock. Right. So mind, body, spirit, I hit the sauna and then I hit the gym. I get an insane amount of energy. I come home, I take my dog out, I do some grounding, I take my shoes off, I walk on the ground, I drink another cup of coffee, hyper oxygenate, and just think about how much gratitude I have. And then it's hard because I'm like pulling myself to get to my computer and start working. So that's like Monday through Friday. Sometimes I'll hit the beach on Saturdays, and Sundays I take my mom to church. Like that's how I rock. I think that's been the biggest difference in my success. So if you guys are like, what's the sauce? It's like that. Like everything
Anyone who follows me, I say the same shit. I actually have a YouTube video about my morning, my version of the miracle morning. I truly think it is the most important thing, and I've done it every day for years because those messages, those motivational messages I listen to have reprogrammed my mind. Plus, I read a ton of books like you, check things out. You can retrain your mind, guys. You can retrain your mind. You don't always have to be worried. You don't always have to be upset upstairs. There are ways to stop the thought loops. You can get in control. Society's lied to us. They do not teach these things because I don't fucking, who the hell knows why they don't do it. But that doesn't matter. There are ways to actually take control of your mind. And as an entrepreneur, you need to. And when you talk about relating to other people, that's hilarious because I can't do small talk anymore. If we're not talking about changing the world or making millions or serving clients or serving customers, I just don't even care. I don't even know what's going on. I have no clue what's going on in the entertainment world, nothing. Like I'm not. So like now I just want to be around people who think like me. It's so important to keep tabs to your surroundings because, you know, like it's you are who you hang out with. Like that's like the truest statement ever. We've all heard that, but it wasn't until like I saw a difference in what happened in my life and I really observed who I used to hang out with, who I hang out with now. I love my old friends and stuff, but they're just going different paths, different directions, right? So you got to keep good people around you and get rid of anything negative. Anything in your negative life, fucking eliminate it. Eliminate the drama, eliminate the bullshit. Stop caring about dumb things and care about how you can serve clients, how you can solve problems, and how you can help people, and you can watch your bank account grow as well as your ability to serve and help other people. Like it's so important. It's the most important thing, man. The morning motivation. That was like a rant that I went on for it, but I'm obsessed with it. I tell everybody that. And I also tell them to fucking read. It's amazing. Like so many of us, like you'll sit and people will bitch and they'll say like, oh, I want to do more. Or I deserve more. Or I get better. Yet if you observe their behavior, nothing about their behavior warrants deserving of more, right? Like to get what you want in life, you have to put in work. Like there's this big paradox going on, right? Like we all want to, have fun and, have sex with chicks or do drugs, whatever you want to do for fun, right? But no, again, you want success and you want money and you want to travel and do all these things, but you're not willing to do what it takes to get there. So many people aren't. Why aren't we willing to sacrifice? It's because the brain tricks us because we don't understand that the work we do today leads to where we're going to be tomorrow. I was listening. I don't know who this guy was, this motivational speech that popped up, but I've been obsessed with this. Actually, it was a Ben Franklin quote, but he said, if you do tomorrow what you did today, you're going to get tomorrow what you got today. And I love that because you got to wake up and you got to think differently and do something different. If what you're doing isn't working, do something different. Okay.
And it's scary, right? It's scary.
Always scary. Humans are terrified of change. We're horrified of being uncomfortable or looking like failures or looking stupid in front of our family and friends because we all think that, for some reason we should just like start a business and become millionaires overnight. It's like, no, that's not how it works. You got to take your rep. You got to get punched in the face a few times. It's those who persevere, who keep going and going and going, who have this insatiable drive in order to get there. There's got to be some sort of drive within. Everyone's got it within us. Not everyone's lit. But you've got to light this drive. And I call it manufacture the urgency of a gun to your head. Because here's the thing. If a gun was to your head, or even better, if it was not even better for the purposes, if it was to a family member's head, if somebody had a gun to your mom or your dad's head and said, make $5,000 this month, guess what? You'd probably fucking figure out how to do it, right? So you always got to wake up every day and manufacture that metaphorical gun to your head or your family member's head, build that urgency and go out and do it. Every single day you got to put in the reps because every day matters, man. Like, I love this stuff. I can talk about this all day because this is like the missing piece. look, people need better strategies, right? We always need better strategies. We need frameworks. We need this and that. But we get caught in a cycle of overthinking and not just going out and doing. Like all of life, if you really think about it, is we take an action, we get a result, we get feedback from that, and we take a different action. Like that's it. But the only way you're ever going to get the feedback that you need in order to make the right result is if you actually take the fucking action, you know?
Right.
And so it's like, that's all it is. It's cause and effect, feedback, action. Like that's it. You go out, like I hate the term failure. We in this society, we've deemed failure as this horrible thing. And it's all because of the way that the educational system is set up, which the educational system is the biggest disaster in the history of the fucking world that we've got right now. It is so bad. But we've looked at failures as bad things. It's like, no, failure is literally just feedback from the environment of how something didn't work. That's it. That's literally it. We've got to take it like that. We can't be afraid of it. Nobody's immune to failure, guys. Nobody is. Alex isn't. I'm not. We get scared. There's stuff that comes up that we get nervous about. No fucking doubt. But the difference is the people who go out and attack the failure, all of a sudden you realize it's not that bad. You're still here. You know, of course you're going to be nervous on your first sales call when you're asking for money. But guess what? By the 50th, you're going to be a little less nervous. You know, all of a sudden you're like, own it. Like, boom, now we need to work on bigger deals, bigger shit. But you've got to take the action to actually get to that point. Education has screwed us over with this whole concept of there's only multiple choice answers to a test. There's not only one answer to everything. There's multiple ways to skin cats. And we've got so much broken shit. And what's going on in the universities in regards to all these people acting like we live in the worst time in the history of the world is just mind blowing to me, because like we literally, the people in the university system in America are the most privileged people in the history of recorded human history. And they're sitting here, anyways, I can go on a rant about that, but let's get back to some sales shit, right? So one thing that, you know, we get talked about a lot. So we talked about your morning. Now let's talk about, you know, how a day or a week would look in regards to your prospecting, right? You mentioned you do LinkedIn, you do cold mail. How would you structure a day or a week in order to, you know, hit some of those numbers, goals, that type of stuff?
Yeah. So, you know, and just to be transparent, like I'm not doing that stuff anymore because my business is in a shift.
Yeah.
But I'll say this, like, if you're on this call, like you should be aiming, like my goal is to be where Nick's at, right? Like I want that type of business. Like I want the 300, 500 a month club, right? Like that's awesome. That's what's worth it to me. But I understood, like I had to learn like at the pond level. And what that means is you got to do it all yourself. So, you know, I'm not doing it anymore because I'm setting up processes and systems to get to where Nick is, because what got me here is not going to get me to the next level. And this is actually a really scary transition because it was obviously working. Yeah. So if you want to know what I would do, you know, I would be prospecting from like, shit, man, I was at my computer at 8 a.m. like ready to start calling, and people started getting upset. They're like, hey, like not even out of my house yet. So I would spend, you know, the first up until about 12 p.m. from 9 to 12, like prospecting, like finding more ways to prospect, dialing in some areas, like prospecting, more volume.
And by prospecting, you mean like sending LinkedIn messages, sending emails, finding new businesses,
everything, cold calling. I would do anything, right?
Just fucking shotgun everybody. I love it.
Setting up VSLs,
yep.
Learning how to run these Facebook funnels because I still don't know how to do it. And I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. I figured it out. I have people that once I get a big check, I'm like, hey, here's $1,000. Help me set this thing up. So I make sure I do get my clients results, right? But yeah, I would just be prospecting, setting up new VSLs, cold calling, cold emailing, whatever it took. So I would do that, I would say until about 12. And then sales calls, like where are your sales calls at? If I wasn't on sales calls, if I wasn't prospecting, then I was fulfilling, I was building out campaigns. Yeah. And so, but it always went back to prospecting because there's 5 core principles of business: lead generation, lead nurture, conversion, delivery, upsell, and resell. But if you don't fill the pipeline, the other 4 don't matter. You say you're a marketer, but you can't sell. So you'll never be a CEO, right? Like you gotta lead generation first. And then become an expert salesman. And that's how, and then once you get there, now I got to learn how to build a team, right? And this is a whole, like I'm in a whole new space now. So I'm a newbie right now.
And it's a difficult transition coming from, you know, sales and all that. And I talk about this all the time, guys, but learning how to sell is the most valuable skill set you could ever learn if you want to get what you want out of life. Okay.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be super energetic. I know me and Alex are on here. We're like, yeah, going rah, rah, up at 5. You don't have to be like that. Okay. Some of the best salespeople I've ever met, very calm, very collected.
Yeah.
They just ask the right questions at the right time. Every good salesperson follows the same process, whether they do it with massive excitement or whether they just ask the right questions at the right time. Right? Like, so you don't have to do it, and nor do you have to take the calls forever. Like Alex said, he's transitioned off. So guess what? Here's another way of looking at things. If you fucking hate running the sales calls, you hate the prospecting the cold email, do it. You should do it 10 times harder, because if you do it 10 times harder, you're going to get out of it 10 times faster. Because guess what happens when you get money coming in? Guess what happens? You can get people to do those jobs for you, right? And here's the other thing that happens when you start knowing that you can get money in. There's this weight that is lifted off of your shoulder that I cannot express. If you learn how to sell, you never have to worry about money again. Okay, you don't. Now, to get to like millions and hundreds of millions and all that stuff, and we're working on, I'm working on, and what Alex is starting to work on, you have to learn how to operate teams. That's a whole different story. But if you want to make 10K a month, and you learn how to sell, boom, you can do that all day long, right? It's literally following a process. Like, selling is really not that difficult. We have this tremendous fear of selling in the society because this old like fucking car salesman shit, and they're sleazy and manipulative. Like, that doesn't fly. That doesn't work anymore. I don't know what era that was in. Like, I don't know how it worked in the past. It doesn't work anymore. All selling is helping people get the result that they want, the future version of themselves. That's it, right? And we need to look at it as a good thing, because moving people from where they are to where they want to be with our product or service is fantastic. If we get the results for our clients, we're going to see the results. You can get anything you want in life if you just help enough other people get what they want, right? And so what we're doing here, a lot of us on this call, we're helping local business owners get more customers, reach their dreams. And if we do that to enough people and enough times, we're going to be able to reach our dreams, right? We're solving people's problems. So I really recommend everyone get over their fear of sales and all that, because sales isn't just selling to businesses. Sales starts with being able to sell your mind and sell your body on actually taking the action and doing the things you need to do to get the results that you need to get. You have to learn the power of influence if you want to go big, if you want to go really big. Now, you don't have to do it forever. Look, Alex fucking, within a couple months, he's already got people in teams and all that type of stuff. You can make that shit happen, but you need to learn how to do it. I'm also a big believer in, being a technician and digging in the weeds before you can become the architect, right? A lot of people have this vision of wanting to be the architect. And I think Gary talks about this as the dirt in the clouds, right? But in order to get to the clouds, you need to be in the fucking dirt. You got to pay the dues. You got to put the shit in. You got to put the time in. But it's very possible, right? You're in this group. If you follow some of the good groups online, you can learn strategies that I wish I would have had a couple of years ago when we're getting in. Because we have the biggest opportunity in the history of the world. You talked about earlier how excited you were every day. That's me. I'm sitting here like, you got to take advantage of the lifetime of an opportunity during the opportunity of the lifetime, right? Like, so right now we're sitting on this golden era where big advertising agencies and big marketing companies don't know what the fuck to do. They don't know how to handle this new wave of incoming ClickFunnels style people. It's really shaking up the game because they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to work on this online stuff. You fucking graduated from USF. You didn't even know who Gary Vaynerchuk was. That's just a travesty. That is a travesty beyond all travesty. And you got a degree in marketing. Like, it's almost fucking comical, but it's the truth. And what goes on, we've got this entire like, it's a huge opportunity right now, man. And that's why I'm so excited every day. You know what I mean? Like,
and the opportunity is just going to continue to evolve too, right? Like, we're doing this now, but like with technology, like things change. And that's what's so cool about where we are as marketers and understanding the online space is if you can adapt. And here's the thing, we got to be able to adapt. We've got to be able to shift. We've got to be able to move, right? And go with where the market's going.
Yep.
So like, that's another thing. Like, just because something's working, the reason Nick's going to take his business to the next level is because my dude works every day. He is right there. He's like, what's up, bro? Where you coming? Yeah. And that's so, like, I respect that so much, man, because it's why you're going to surpass a lot of these cats that are getting complacent and resting on their laurels.
Oh,
right?
I
can only hope that when I'm doing 300K, I'm not chilling on a yacht in Miami with some broads.
This weird thing happens, right? Like, so many times we think it's like the materialism, those types of things are what makes us happy. what makes everybody happy? Earl Nightingale said this, and Earl Nightingale, for those of you who don't know him, is an unbelievable speaker and business leader. And he said this is the best definition of success he'd ever heard, and I love it, and I found it to be true. Success is the worthy realization of a goal, right? By that, what I mean by that is when you wake up and you work towards a goal. When you are working towards something, that is when you're the most fulfilled about the results you achieve. Once you achieve that goal, you feel great. So you start to want to climb bigger mountains. You want to get bigger and higher and higher. And all of a sudden you start to see the world differently. And the more I've gotten into this game, the deeper I've got, the more I sit and observe the markets, the more opportunity I see everywhere. Because billionaires, they think differently than you do. They think differently. That's it. It's literally only in their mind. So often we think it's this magical, skill set, or he got lucky, or, the president's the reason why I fucking can't do anything right now and he's killing me, or blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, they just they look at things differently than you. So you want to start learning how they think. You want to start acting like them. And the best way to do that, find people that you look up to, go fucking model them, right? Like I pay a ton of money for mentors and leaders so I can learn from people who are where I want to get to so they can save me time, energy. Like mentorship's been the biggest thing. I spent over $100,000 in the last 18 months on mentors alone. And that was the best money I've ever spent. Now I also don't spend any money on anything else. Like I don't buy anything because I'm obsessed. Like I see an opportunity right now and I've got massive dreams and goals that I want to work towards, So it's weird. It's increased my drive. I work even more. Like I spent more time on it. And look, guys, I'm not telling you have to give up your life or anything like that. This just happens to be my passion, my hobby, marketing, all that stuff, serving others, everything like that. But like, it's all about who you become. You guys might have heard that, but like I can sit here and tell you it's all about who you become. And when you start achieving those goals, that's where true happiness and fulfillment comes from. It comes from achieving goals, who you become, and serving other people, feeling like you're a part of something, helping other people out. Like, it's not about the cars. It's not about girls. It's not about the trips. Yes, travel experiences are great, but it's all about who you become. And when you become a person who's worthy of these things, they tend to find you. And you become worthy of them by putting in the work, doing the action, and serving others and solving their problems. All businesses is solving problems. That's it.
Yep. And you got to keep it that simple. You really do. Yeah. You got to keep my mom's like, Alex, I want to start this business. I said, she wants to start working on this business. I said, Mom, first things first, you got to start working on you, right? You got to become worthy and deserving of the result before you get the result. If I was deserving of being a millionaire, I'd be a millionaire right now.
Absolutely.
I'm obviously not.
Yep.
And that's okay. Because tomorrow morning, I'm going to go put in my time, put in my work until, why? Because I know deep down that I am a millionaire. I just haven't put in the work to be deserving of the result yet. So
100%, man. You pay your reps now, you get the results years down the line. But that's why humans give up so easily. If you really think about it, like most of us know what we should do, right? Like we know what we should do to get in better shape, to have a better relationship, to make more money, to get a better business. We know we should read that book or watch that course. But why don't we do it? Like life is simple. It's just not easy. But what's crazy is, and this is what I've learned, and this is why I've grown to like a sick satisfaction for discipline and sacrifice at this point. Because what I've learned is, and this is from Les Brown, and I love the way he put it, if you do what is easy, like you take the easy way out, your life will be hard. If you do what is hard, your life will be easy. Like that shit.
Love that quote.
So true, man. Discipline equals freedom, bro. It's a sick, weird paradox of humans. Like everything we want's on the other side of discipline and sacrifice. Like that's where the true happiness comes in. And then when you realize that you build that discipline, you build that self-confidence, then everything changes. And one thing I get asked all the time is, how do you build self-confidence? How does that happen? Blah, blah. Because I wasn't always like that, and I'm still, working towards. I used to be super unconfident. You build confidence, guys, by doing the little things every day, showing up every day. When you become somebody who does even 50% of what you say you're going to do. Think about this, guys. How often do you say you're going to do shit and you don't do it? If you do 50% of what you said you were going to do, everyone would probably be millionaires. All right. We probably would be if we followed, this business plan or this thing, blah, blah. Like just do 50%. The more you start showing up every day, the more you start doing the little things, the more you start making your fucking bed, the more you start hitting the gym when you know you should. If you want to get in better shape, whatever, well, everyone should work out to some degree for health reasons in mind. But that's how you gain confidence, guys. That's how you do it. Of course, you're not going to walk into your first sales call like fucking Jordan Belfort, chest out the puff. Guess how many calls Jordan Belfort took over the years? A shitload. You don't just walk into that, right? Like you get way better. I was sharing with the group, with the inside the private Krusader group, a video, one of my first videos that I did the other day, and I'm like, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to teach you this, and then we're going to go over here, and let's jump right into the campaign. So fucking nervous. Took me like 5 hours to do a video. Like, it sucked. I was sitting in there in a suit. I haven't worn a suit in years. I thought I needed to wear a suit to be in business and all this shit. And you just get better at things, right? Like, that's kind of just more of like, you got to put in the reps to get to where you want to get, right? I love the pro athlete comparison. I'm also a big sports fan because it's greatness. They're the epitome, the definition, the pinnacle of human greatness is pro athletes. Because people might call them spoiled prima donnas, and a lot of them fucking are. But that doesn't mean they don't put in a shitload of work. They put in more work than we could ever dream of in order to get to where they're at. So I love to watch them. I love reading documentaries or watching documentaries, reading stories about Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. You got to put in the reps.
Look at the McGregor documentary too. That one's really good.
I haven't watched that one. Okay, I'll have to check that out for sure.
Check that one out. It's inspirational.
Yeah, dope, man. All right, guys, what questions do we have? We're coming up on an hour. I know we just went on a nice little mindset, right? But guys, like, I talk about mindset on almost every single live I get on where we'll talk, because it is the most important thing. Psychology is everything. The psychology you have, the way you look at the world, the way you think about things, the way you think about your problems, right? Like, you hear this all the time, but people always say the richest people, where others say this is a problem, other people see opportunity. You always got to look for opportunity because it's everywhere. And there's never been a time in the history of recorded human history that there's more opportunity than there is right now.
True.
Right? And we can help, we can get better. Another thing right now, the market is we got to shift with the market. I made a post about this early today, actually, about solving problems. A lot of the ways a lot of us were trained with Facebook ads specifically, I think we're going to need to change the way that we advertise is going to need to change here. We're going to need to do a bit more for our clients. We're going to need to dig a little deeper. We're going to need to niche down harder. So we're going to have to adjust with it, because there's a lot of people out there saying, oh, the leads suck, or they're losing clients, or retention's having issues. So we got to adapt with the marketplace, right? You were talking about adaptation earlier, and we're working on that over here. There's a lot of things we're doing to adapt with the market to, make sure that lead quality is better, more people are showing up, all that type of stuff. So that's a whole nother life for a different day. But let me see here. Okay, we got Manuel, prospecting scripts. Okay, so yeah, we can talk about some of these. I'll give some. So somebody was just asking, some prospecting tips, like what are some of your favorite email subject lines? What are some of the bodies you like to use in emails in order to get responses?
The ones in your course. I just copied and pasted them. Like, oh man, I suck at that stuff. I just did it. I literally was like, oh yeah, that looks good. Boom.
Oh man, I love it. Yeah, because it works. It works in almost every industry. You just got to send it out enough. And like literally it does. Man, well, so what he's talking about is like some of the questions, like use headlines that are gonna elicit and open, right? Like strange questions, one of my all-time favorite email headlines. How is this possible? ... is one that I love to do. I just missed you. I just called you is one, if we're calling them like a in the front, I just called you. It's all about getting creative and what's going to open, right? Like, I mean, there's so many, there's a lot of things we could talk about here, but there's some of them right there, Manuel. Those are three of my favorite ones right there. How is this possible? ... And then I go into, we got guaranteed leads, blah, blah. Reply yes if you want to talk. Here's a video if you want to watch it, depending on what we're doing. But yeah, strange, quick question, is a great one. People open emails. Email works so fucking well right now, Let's see here. This is a good one. Justin Saunders, what is the #1 book you recommend for mindset?
I mean, we got a couple over here.
Yeah.
I love Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, I mean that's a classic one all the way around.
I mean, you got to read it a few times. Like the third time I read it, I was like, fuck. Like there's some heavy. Like I read it and like I got my spine was just like whoa. Like run downstairs, like share with everybody. Like there's a part in this book. like just like my first highlight is the world does not pay men for what they know, it pays them for what they induce others to do.
Yep.
And then it talks about there's another line in here where it's like you can make as much money as you want if you can help other people make money.
Yep.
It's something like that. But
if you can help them solve their problems, those are things that are so freaking important, man. It's so different than what we're taught, right? Like so many times we think we need to be hella intelligent or hella smart. Trust me, you don't need to be that fucking smart. You just need to help.
I'm not smart.
I struggled. Solve a problem, right? There's a ton of fucking MBAs, Harvard graduates, Yale graduates who are struggling right now, who aren't getting anything, and those are the smartest people. Intelligence.
They're gonna work for us.
Yeah, exactly. The intelligence is a factor. Don't get me wrong, but like you just have to help other people. You have to understand how to solve problems. You have to understand how to solve problems for other people. And what a lot of us do in here, like I said, is we're helping solve the problems of getting customers into businesses. So Think and Grow Rich is actually an amazing one, Justin. I have a ton. I think that's a great one to get started though, because
10x
is good.
10x rule.
Yeah,
it's really good. I like that.
So 10x rule. Yeah, Think and Grow Rich is great because the introduction of the auto suggestion is incredibly powerful. How we talk to ourselves, all that. The book that changed my life the most was actually A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, if anyone's ever read that. I was given that book a week after I got my DUI. It was about 9 years ago now. And ever since then, my life's never been the same. I've never viewed reality the same. So that's my favorite. But be forewarned, that book's very deep. It took me a couple times to really get it and read it. But I read it every year now. I just finished reading it again a couple months ago. And I see things differently every time. Love that one. And then all of Tony Robbins stuff for mindset. All of it. Tony Robbins had a massive impact on my life. I just went to one of his conferences.
The compound effect. I like this one. It's essentially what Nick and I have been speaking about.
Yep.
Ego is the enemy. We're all victims to our ego.
Yep.
The 10x rule is really good. The war of art, I'm really starting to like.
Yep. Shocking. One of the number one common denominator I found between almost everyone who's mega successful and super successful is they are students of life. They're students of life and they're always looking to learn and they force time to learn. I'm real fucking busy, but I still find time to train, to read, to get things in because that's what stimulates me. Like when I learn something, I get one thing new from a book because I've seen how much one idea can change my life. One idea can lead to $1 million, guys. It literally can. And you can hear that as many times as you can, but you just need to trust me on it because I understand it's not going to be as clear until you actually take one idea and make it $1 million, right? But it can. So looking for those things, being a student in the game, being, learning is so important. I mean, Warren Buffett says he reads like 8 hours a day. Still, he's like 78 and he has like freaking $1 billion. Like Bill Gates said the same thing. They were actually, both of them were asked, if you could have one superpower, what would it be? Both of them said the ability to read faster. To speed read, just to get it in. And it's mind-blowing. Take some time every week to train and work on your craft. That's another broken thing about society. People tend to believe that as soon as they're done with the college, or high school, there's no more learning. It's like, if you want to stay stuck and be in a bad place for the rest of life, then go ahead, do that. But if you want to get better, you must get better. We started with this. If you want more, you must learn more. Okay. For things to get better, you must get better. Don't wish things were easier, wish you were better. Like that's how it works, right? Quit complaining about all you got. If you complain about the government and the local economy and the business and my boss is pissed off and my family didn't have anything or my sister doesn't want me to be good. Like, don't complain about that. Look for the things that are good in life. Where focus goes, energy flows. There's so much shit on it. Really quick, Toby, I see your question here, brother, about realtors. PM me, man. We do not, but I definitely know some people I would trust that I can connect you with there, man. We work in the medical space specifically. And that's one thing, we don't like to go outside of our lane. Like, that's really important. We always get in this, but niche down, guys. Have a fucking niche. So let's see here. What questions do we got? Man, well, that's awesome, man, that you read it. Justin, definitely read Think and Grow Rich. Okay, here's a good question from Andrew. Alex, do you use a script when you cold call? I'm planning on calling the offices of the doctors I sent custom videos to. Just trying to figure out what to say. This is good.
Yeah, and I've developed a script off of like Grant Cardone's cold calling strategy as well. So, definitely, I always know what I'm going to say before I get on the phone, depending on, what has been framed, whether it's a cold lead or, it's a somewhat warm lead. I always like know those first couple steps because a sale is a straight line. So yes, my answer to that question is yes. PM me and I'll send you the script. No problem.
Dope, man. Cool. Yeah, Andrew's inside the group, man. So we'll make sure that people in there can get that too, because I want to put some stuff together as well. I go over how to call to follow up, but it's not. We could get some more stuff there. Let's see here. Jodine, what's up, Jodine? Is local business the best place to start? I'm small town. Everyone is deer in the headlights when I mention advertising. Most don't want more business.
So, I mean, Nick, you probably know better than me, but I say go where the money is. Like, where's the money? Who's got the money? And go where the money is. Like,
absolutely. And if it's not in your town, Jodine, then reach out outside of your town. Look, getting started. I know I brought up networking and family and friends, but look, sometimes there's geographical restraints on that, and that happens, right? But the rest of the prospecting methods that we go over still work. You can still reach people. At this point, I prefer not to have people be local. I don't want them local. I mean, at this point, I don't handle the clients too much anymore. But, even it got to a certain point really quick where I didn't want to have to drive 45 minutes to go meet somebody for 2 hours because I could have been on the phone. I could have been prospecting. In this day and age, we don't have to be local, right? It's just a lot of times the easiest quick wins are the networking and the family and friends and stuff. But as you scale, you want to move away from that. That's really just to get your feet wet, get started, get some traction, some cash flow.
Right.
Let's see here. Okay, Chandler's got a couple good questions. What's up, Chandler? How did you niche down? Because I know we're actually in a very similar niche. But how did you niche down, and how did you find the niche?
So I'm trying to think about how to put this. I knew that it was time for me to start winning because I had lost for so long and I was tired of it. And I met this guy at Funnel Hacking Live. So I went proximity is power, right? I bought a ticket. I was like, I got to figure this thing out. I went to this event. I met this guy and he was like, yeah, these are the people that I serve. And I was like, cool. How much can I pay you to learn everything you know? And he was like, 24 grand. And I was like, can I write you a check right now? I want to know everything you know. I want to rip off your whole business. I want to essentially license your business model.
Yeah. And
that's how I niched down. I wasn't passionate about my niche. I was passionate about winning. I was like, I am so sick and I see everybody winning, everybody on Instagram in Prague. I'm sitting here, I'm broke. So I was like, what do I got to do? What do you do? How much do I have to pay you? Teach me everything you know. And then I took action.
Love it.
To answer your question, man, there's not going to be some golden goose that lands on your footstep.
Yeah.
Find somebody that you like, that you want to model, and model them. Right? Figure out how much you got to pay them to literally to license their business. That's what I would do. I say, how much do I have to pay you to license your business? Right? If it's like law, like I don't see a lot of people with lawyers, but lawyers got money. Like my mom told me when I grew up, if I wanted to be successful, I'd have to go be a doctor or a lawyer. Well, if that's who's got the money, then I'm going to go take it from them. Respectfully, of course.
Yeah, I'd help him. Yeah, absolutely, man.
Respectfully.
I love it. I think that's a great response. Just so you guys know, the guy I know who he's referring to. He's a friend of mine. He's actually going to be joining us, I think, next week for us. So we'll save for that. But I know exactly what he's talking about. He's a great dude. Yeah. Let's see here. James, what's up, man? What the bleep do we know is awesome. I love learning about quantum. I'm fascinated by this shit. Basically, what the bleep do we know, for anyone who hasn't seen it, is kind of a mind fuck. But really all this stuff, like when I start looking at quantum theory and physics and metaphysics and all this stuff, which I'm fascinated by, all I learn is that nobody knows shit. Nobody knows a damn fucking thing. Like one thing I want everyone on this call to understand right now is nobody that you know has it all figured out. Everybody's still just fucking trying to get through life and not be miserable, right? Like that's really what it comes down to. You know, that's all we're searching for. Nobody knows anything. We don't understand how the brain works. We don't know consciousness. We can't even predict the fucking weather. How often is the weather wrong? It's raining right now. It said it was going to be 79 and sunny with no rain today. You know, like we don't know anything. So one thing, this is kind of a side rant, but this is really, really important. Question everything. Question everything in your life. Question everything that you see in the media. Question everything that you hear from people. Because here's the thing. When everyone believes it, that's what I want to question even more, because almost everything, every belief ends up turning out wrong. So question everything and observe it. Learn to become objective of everything. Don't just take something here because you saw a headline on the media or news or something and think that it's true. Observe it, go deep into it. And this goes for all aspects of life. This goes for fitness, this goes for the news, this goes for business, all that type of stuff, right? Like, always question everything. It's a really, really powerful skill. You want to start understanding how things work. Like, we need to start, Sam Ovens put this in my head and I love it. He's another one of the guys I paid money to listen to. But look at everything like an engineer. We need to start understanding how things work. Why does this work? Why does this good? You know, why does, you know, for example, I was at Dick's Sporting Goods the other day, and they tried to get me to sign up for a credit card. And I got to thinking, I'm like, I wonder how Dick's is reimbursed on this card. Do they get a percent of that 2.4% merchant fee? I started asking the cashier because I wanted her to start thinking differently. And she's like,
yeah.
what are you talking about, bro? But like, start understanding how things work. Understand how the world works, how business works, why the economy works, why things move, right? Because at the end of the day, like, when you look at the economy, like, all we want is to solve problems. That's it. That's what we spend money. We're buying stuff to get a better future version of ourselves. So we need to start understanding that. We need to start looking how things work. That was kind of a random side tangent, but start trying to figure out, think like an engineer. Think about everything as a process and how is it going from A to Z, right? You know, you talked about that. Actually, looking at the entire thing, and yeah, anyways. Let's see here. Yep, Justin, man, 10X is fucking awesome. Sup, Vlad, more of art is the shit. Andrew, awesome, man. We'll definitely get you squared away. So Manuel, he asked, what's a custom video? So a custom video, man, is really just a video. It can be multiple different ways of doing it, but it can be a sales video that you send out to a prospect. It can be a video introduction of yourself. It can be something that you found wrong with their website that you want to send them an audit on and say, hey, you're making this mistake. I think I can help you. There's a lot of different ways of doing the custom videos here. He's bringing it up because it's inside the Krusader stuff, but it's the #1 way to get clients sending videos to people. Let's see here. Joseph, yes, man. Videos to prospects. I mean, I know you've sent some out. You've also done cool stuff. There's so many different ways you can do it. Videos are so powerful. Almost every deal I've ever sold started off, it had a video at some point in the funnel. Cold, doesn't matter. Almost every single person I've ever sold. Let's see here. Charles, Outwitting the Devil is a fucking awesome book. I love that one. Not many people talk about that. Yeah, it's a great, great, great book. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it for now, man. We had a lot of good questions here. Right? Just good stuff, man. Alex, any parting words, brother? This has been awesome. I know that a lot of people got a good value out of this. I got some good shit, and I love your energy, bro. Just getting started, man. We got big things to do.
Yeah, we got huge things to do. I mean, you know, guys, it's I look at it like this. Like, am I more worried about failing, or am I more worried about not attaining my goals? And that fight, right? I think Tony Robbins said life is the fight between what you truly, truly desire and what you're really, really afraid of. And if you're like me and you want it all, like even Nick, like I know Nick makes a lot of money, but I know he still thinks the same way that I think, where it's like, I gotta get it, because he's not satisfied. And it's not about the money at that point in the game. It's about the progress, right? It's about the process, who he's becoming, and his vision to change the world.
Yep. So
that's what you have to ask yourself every single day. If you're struggling, if you're unsure, if you're doubtful, understand those are common human emotions, and we're all going to have those times, those good, those bad. But if we can say, what are we afraid of and what do we truly want, and we can go after what we truly want, if this is our driving force and it can pull us into the future, that's when we're going to win. And we're only going to do that again through the habits that we instill in ourselves, through our mindset, through staying around the right people, and more importantly, staying away from the wrong people. That's more important than staying around the right people. The right people are right here. You guys are hanging out with us right now, right? We're hanging out with Nick Robbins. Like, this guy's an inspiration. So that's it, man. Keep your mindset level, because the days are going to go up and they're going to go down. Understand, anybody who ever did anything great in life, they went through the same thoughts that you're thinking. They went through the exact same pain that we're all going to go through in order to get to the promised land. But it's always going to be worth it. And that's what I tell myself every single day. I do it for my mom. I do it for my family. I do it for my future family. And I also do it because I freaking love the game. Yeah, so that's it.
I love it, dude. I love it. You're going to get kicked in the fucking teeth, but that's okay. Learn to love it. That's how you learn. That's how you get better. Most people are too scared to even get that far. So the fact you guys are here, you're watching this, you guys got something inside of you, you've got to drive. Now it's time to just get up every fucking morning and make it happen and go. Just go, and just keep going and just keep fucking going. So Alex, you're the man, dude. We'll have to bring you back probably in like 2 months when you're at like 50K and shit, dominating. Yes. So it's been a real pleasure, man. It's been a lot of fun, dude. Thank you so much for coming on. Everybody else, let's dominate. Next week we will be back with another live. Take care, guys.
Thanks, Nick. Cheers, guys.